What they're hoping to do is so we can continue to move towards potential construction, or at least planning of this site, is engage T&M to do further research on the wetlands issue, apply for permits from DEP if necessary, create an estimated construction budget, and work towards creating actual bid documents. Full build out would include lighting, concession, restroom facilities. As outlined on the agenda rec, the issues that have to be dealt with are, been already mentioned a couple times, wetlands. The property is still in Farm Park. We're getting closer to the subdivision and annexation, but we're not there yet. We have verbal commitment from the Board of Education. Just need to get the formal commitment on their share. The source of the borough funding, source of public fundraising that has not begun yet, and you know, the whole scope of project is going to be based on availability, funding, and the DEP constraints. And I emailed out, and I don't know if people saw it, but the color version earlier today, which, if you're having trouble with the gray and black, you have the color one in the inbox.
This came pretty good, though,
yeah,
for Xerox. All right, let's take these one at a time. The potential wetlands, and this goes to a question that Mr. Cerciello had raised about, you know, we're all focusing on the turf all the time and the carpeting and where it's going to go, but we really got to work kind of back up and what's going to go underneath and do the engineering. And part of it is not only the wetlands constraint, but you know, the water has to be collected under these fields. Trying to find the best way to get the water off the field. Either we have to hold it and detain it in another section of the property, or if there is, you know, an easy way to get it to existing plumbing or intake, that's part of, you know, that step of what needs to be.
Part of that is if there has to be retainage off of the field site itself, is what impact that might have on the passive recreation plans, the community garden or others. So that also obviously has to be sorted out.
Like ideally, I guess, as much as we could use existing, that would be certainly the most cost efficient too. The annexation, Joe, do you want to bring us up to date a little bit? I know you were talking with Rockefeller's attorney.
Yes. At the Farm Park Planning Board tonight, the subdivision and site plan application by Rock Farm, which includes cutting off the tail that we didn't purchase, so that the filed map will have the correct configuration of the 49 acres we purchased. That's pending tonight, although I understand they have a heavy agenda. If it doesn't get passed tonight, they have another meeting 2 weeks from tonight. Once they get that subdivision and perfect it by filing a subdivision map, we can proceed to annex the property. We can't do it until then because the tail is reflected on the maps as being part of the property, which it's not. And as you recall, that's the roadway around the office park that's in there, which at the time of closing we didn't take title to. So annexation will happen quickly after they perfect it. I think we're looking several months down the road, depending on how quick they move on. If Florham Park passes this application, it should move quickly from there.
All right. Formal commitment from the Board of Education. I guess that's a matter of shared service, bringing that to them, and hopefully they will have a resolution for us. And likewise, we will do, obviously, putting our borough funding package together with a resolution, exchange resolutions, I guess, with the Board of Education. Public fundraising. I guess, I don't know what your thoughts were, Bob. I was thinking of just putting a fundraising committee together, and I came up with a list of names of some people that I thought might be good. Should we do this as a formal committee or ad hoc, or ask for people who want to volunteer for help with fundraising? What were your thoughts on
I think there needs to be some sort of structure at the higher part of the committee, so you have a formal committee, but obviously, as any successful fundraising campaign would need, you need kind of the fingers going out, and almost, you know, the pyramid idea behind it in a positive way, to reach out to as many people as possible. So, you know, I wasn't thinking about any particular size of a formal committee, but I think it would be important to name people to the actual committee and have particular roles, and then have them work on making sure we get more people involved.
Okay, well, to that end, I put some names, some people together, and certainly if anyone has anyone you want to add, or thought I'd like, hopefully you, Bob, would. I know you've been part of capital campaigns in the past. I certainly have. I would like to be on this committee.
I actually will.
Do you think it's a conflict?
I think it's because I may be involved in another one, so I will.
Well, certainly, I know Marty Horn has expressed interest representing the Madison Athletic Foundation. I have 3 other people, Steve Capola, Jim Hughes, and Christian Martin. Anyone else? To whisper to me. Anyone you'd like to...
Jim Bruckner's also offered to attend. I have 2 other names that I don't have answers on, but they'll be forthcoming over the next couple of days.
Okay.
Mayor, you put the Sam Cerciello on that, please.
Okay.
Sam, you're already on.
Sam, all right. Okay. Anyone else? Don? You?
Well,
Or Doc? Don or Doc?
I'd be more than happy to.
yeah, I have every intention of being on it and
We're all on
helping
it.
it
Let's
to move
face it.
forward.
All right, great.
If I don't know if it's in order, but is there any way you could put Jim Burnett on it?
Well, would we ask Jim Burnett?
I'm asking, Jim.
I think he just left the room.
Just put the laptop in front.
He's there, he's hiding.
Take that laptop off.
Jim's gotta be on it.
We'll put Jeb on instead. How's that? All right. All right, and I guess we'll be able to flesh out the scope and availability of funds and all that once we have we'll get our engineering underlay.
Yep.
And an idea of what the project's going to cost, and then we can go to work on borough structure funding. Does that sound like a plan of some sort?
Question.
Yes, sir.
Correct me if I'm wrong, did we set up an account
Yes.
for contributions
Yes.
that could be put?
Miss Bailey and
They go
Mr.
directly to the
Elias
borough
did.
and be tax deductible,
Right. Okay,
and they cannot be spent on anything else.
Right.
That's it.
right. Okay.